Dwayne Wade is the NBA superstar who helped lead the Miami Heat to victory in the 2012 championship. He's been called the best basketball player in the world. But truthfully, all of that pales in comparison to what he has accomplished off the court. From surviving a childhood surrounded by poverty, violence, a mother who was addicted to drugs, who served time in prison, to an ugly custody battle that he won for his own sons. And it inspired his new memoir. It's called A Father First, How My Life Became Bigger Than Basketball. I've read it. It's a terrific book. You should read it. And you should meet right now again Dwayne Wade. So before we get to this book, and I mean, this is not just a guy's book. This is a book that everyone should read. It's really such a good book. But before that, you were just on with us, and then you had a knee operation.
I did have a knee operation.
And so you didn't play in the Olympics, even though the team won. You were not there.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
How are you doing, and how did you feel watching that? Did you feel I gotta get out there?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm ahead of schedule. Yeah, the knee's okay, so I'm ahead of schedule. But you know, obviously watching the games, you know, you kind of seeing where you could fit in at.
Right.
You're like, oh, I could have. You know,
made that.
yeah, but I knew that the team was a great team, and I had to do what was best for the Miami Heat and the franchise I really made a commitment to, and that was getting healthy and getting ready for the season.
I have to say, you are the snappiest dresser we've ever had on this show.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love it. The handkerchief and the flag. You know, I know, Dwayne, the book is just an excellent book about being a father. And you're going through so much right now. You have sole custody. You gained sole custody of both your boys, ages 10 and 5. And you also have custody of your 10-year-old, your nephew. You have custody of your nephew. You went through a very ugly divorce. And meanwhile, you pretty much stayed quiet because I know there were rumors flying around left and right. She accused you of being an unfaithful father, an unfaithful husband, there were accusations that you were abusing her. You fought quietly, yet you still played an amazing game. You didn't let any of your teammates know that all of this chaotic stuff was going on in your life, and yet you still managed to play basketball and win. How in the world did you...
And take care of these two kids.
And you were taking care of your family. I mean, how did you deal with all of this?
Well, I think the first thing I had to think about was my boys. When a lot of things came out negative towards me, your human nature is to fire back and to respond. But I had to think about them and what was best for them. And what was best for them was for their dad to make sure that I showed them and I fight for them, more so than fighting for myself for words that's put out there about me that I can't control.
And I want to say all those rumors were not true. They found to be not true. They were unfounded accusations, absolutely.
Because you originally had joint custody, you and your ex, and then you decided that it was best to sue for full custody. Was there something in particular that made you make that decision? What was the turning point there?
It was just a pile of things, over the course of 3 years. It just kept piling up to the point where, if anybody know me, if I don't have my kids with me, if I can't be that father, I'm not whole. And it just came a point where I wasn't able to see them. I wasn't able to talk to them the way I wanted to. And I said, the only way that I can, have my kids, the only way I can be a father first is by making sure that, I go for custody of them because I wasn't seeing them. And
why not? She wouldn't let you?
There's a lot. It's in the book. I mean, she kept them from him. And so. Did they ever see their mother now?
Yes, they see their mother. I think what a lot of people understand is that when the judge decided to grant me custody, they granted me custody because, one of the reasons because they felt that I can make sure that the relationship worked between both parents and I can facilitate that relationship. When
you read your book and you read about your childhood, the fact that you are sane and reliable is just amazing. I mean, you were very poor. You lived with your mother, who was a serious drug addict. She is now wonderful and sober. We're going to meet her. But she went to prison. You had to watch your mother being taken away in handcuffs. How do you survive this? How do you grow up to be this person?
I don't know. I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed. But, I think when I was young, and I never once blamed them for, their path in life. I understand that their path in life made me who I am today. You know, good and bad. I learned
Watching your
from it.
mother taken out of the house in handcuffs?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I
Also had
cried.
a great sister.
I had an unbelievable sister. Yeah.
Fantastic sister.
And we're
Yeah.
going to
Who's
actually
also, yeah.
get
I
a
don't know how
chance
she
to
dealt with me, you
meet
know?
her. She's incredible. I mean, if you can, because I know she's going to come out and hang out for a little bit in the next segment, but she is extraordinary, and this book is extraordinary, and what she did for you was nothing short of that. Can you tell us shortly before we go to the next segment what she did for you at such a young age?
Yeah, she became very unselfish. You know, she decided to take me out of that environment and put me in a different environment with my father, that she felt that that I really can't succeed and that I needed a man in my life to raise me. And it kind of was like at the point where she felt that there was nothing else that I can get out of growing up in 59th and Prairie on the south side. So she took me and said, here you go.
Right?
Just kind of dropped me off.
She did.
That was the turning point for you.
There was a turn. I needed my stepbrothers. I needed my father. You know, I needed that man in my life. You know, I realized, and that's why, you know, I wrote this book. I realized how important it is for men to be in their kids' lives, and it's important for both parents, but it's very important, you know, at a certain age for men to step up.
I got to take my lipstick off your face, because in a minute we're coming back with your mother and sister, and I don't want them saying, take that lipstick off of Dwayne's face. So we'll be right back with his mother and sister.
Next, Dwayne's mother is sharing how her deadly battle with drug addiction put her life in a downward spiral you won't believe she survived.
Okay, this is quite a story. We are back with Dwayne Wade, and joining him are his sister Tregill and his mother, Pastor, is it Jolinda or Yolinda? Jolinda Wade. Okay. It is such a story. I mean, I look at you now, this beautiful, sober, terrific pastor, but for many years you were a drug addict, in and out of prison, hard to believe. And you, even though you had two older sisters, you had to bring up this little brat, right? So at the age of 13, you took him to his father. You had been taking care of him before that. How did you manage, and why did you, at 13, decide he should leave you?
It was the struggles, you know, he needed to eat. He had to, you know, he needed to be somebody. And I just knew from around the area that it wasn't going to happen there. It wasn't going to happen on 59th and Prairie. It was so much going on there.
But you were the one responsible. You had two older sisters, a mother in jail, and you did it. You're amazing.
Thank you. I mean, I give it all. I just say God, you know, blessed us to be able to survive it and get through it. You know, we were taught to take care of the younger brother. Like, that was it was just what I did. It wasn't even, you know, it's just second nature. I had to take care of him. I had to make sure he was fine.
Well, Tregill, you know, in the book, it's just amazing the love that you have for your brother, the things that you had to endure for Dwayne. When Dwayne would see you, Jolinda, be let out in handcuffs, you would make sure that Dwayne was in another room, and you would lock the door. And you would make sure that when he had to get out, you would get him out the window, you would make sure he was out first. So when you went and dropped him off at his father's house, what was just amazing to me was you dropped him off and you left. You left him, but now he's who he is. He's this amazing basketball star. Did you even think that he would be Dwayne Wade?
No, no. I knew what he was not going to be, though. He was not going to be a drug dealer. He was not going to step into those spaces. That was not going to happen, but...
And he's an awesome father.
What amazing. I love him. I do.
But you know, Jolinda, when you hear your daughter, and we look at you now, this beautiful, composed woman, but you served time in prison, you escaped, you were a fugitive for 5 years, you turned yourself in. I mean, it's an unbelievable story. How did you get from that to this?
I had a praying mother. She's 91 years old today, and I thank God for her. And I, you know, feel bad that Ma saw me more so in my addiction and in the place that I was at because she didn't raise me like that. And she kept taking me to the church and putting me on the altar. No matter what I did, she'd invite me in, and I started going into church.
After you got out of prison?
One of the times when I got out of prison, I was in and out of prison.
You escaped and turned yourself in?
When I escaped, that was one of the I call them bits. That was one of the bits I had to do. And it was a blessing that I even got work release. But I escaped from it in the month of March of 1997. And I didn't know until I feel like the Lord led me to turn myself in, that I had been gone as long as I had been gone. But it was in the length of time that I had been gone that my life was changing.
Jolinda, you know, you're now pastor of a church that Dwayne bought for you.
Yes,
You got yourself together, which shows you that you can never, like you said with your mother, you never give up on your kids, never give up on your children. But what was the thing that finally, because you were on drugs for so long, what was that thing that finally made you say, I can't do it anymore. It's enough.
Because even though I kept going and I kept getting the drug, because I felt like when I failed as a mother, I felt like I failed. So the only close friend that became my friend then was drugs and alcohol. And so I stayed there. But inside of me, I was crying out to God, I don't want to be this person. I want to stop. But I wouldn't say it out my mouth because I was scared the police was going to come and arrest me. So I just said it within. And the Lord heard my heart, and he came for me.
Well, you know, we've said this is a terrific read and an absolutely amazing family. And what a joy to have you here, Dwayne, and to know that you're raising your own 2 little boys with these women, I'm sure, at your side. So we thank you really for being with us. And members of our audience are taking home a copy of Dwayne's book. And we want to tell you to have a great day. Take a little time yourself to enjoy the view. Thank you. Thank you.